So I do want to talk about local SEO with you and your sort of your outlook on it, your strategy, and what you would tell people or how you would advise somebody to get started with local SEO. Say they just put the sign on the door, like you said, nailed it to the door, attorney at law, I'm ready to go. What's your advice to them?
Well, so that's a terrific question. And here's what my advice is. Figure out what your name is legally. So it could be John Smith, P.C. And make sure that name and that exact address, including the suite number, spelled STE or SUITE, whatever your preference is. Are you going to use the hyphenated zip code or not? Again, whatever your preference is.
I didn't know where you were going with this at first, and now I saw where you're going.
Take that NAP, that NAP data, name, address, and phone number, and go to Google, open a Gmail account right now, and go to Google My Business and set that up with that data that you scripted out and predetermined. Put that into there and get that approved using various methods which change daily from Google. And you're off and running. And then from there, make sure that anywhere you can build a business listing or an address, I'll tell you where you should start. You should stay away from Yext. Sorry if that hurts you. And I'll tell you why in a second. And you should go to a place called brightlocal.com. We build citations at brightlocal.com all day. Go to brightlocal.com. You can spend a few bucks building some citations there. You can build them for free. It'll tell you what the top 30, 40, 50 citations you should be building, what they are. And if you want to read some blog content about local SEO, great source is Bright Local. Now, the reason why you should not sign up for Yext is because if you decide you don't want to pay Yext's fees, they will pull any listings and citations down off the internet that you built, even if you built. So if you built them through their platform, they're gone. So go to Google My Business, go to Bright Local, build 25 to 50 local citations, and then put up a web page. Those are the two things that you need to do right out of the gate.
I'm sure that people who watch this podcast think that I'm such like a pandering, just little weasel because I agree with everything that people that come on this podcast say. But you just got a huge round of applause, proverbially.
Can we mix that in like some canned applause?
I will. Yeah. Woo.
Thank you.
I hope that we have that sort of track back there. Otherwise, that's really awkward. But so I started the marketing department with my boss 6 years ago. And what we were originally going to do is we were going to do like what you do. We were going to provide SEO, local SEO, and sort of all those marketing services for our customers. Obviously, we got very far away from that. We don't want to get involved in that for business reasons. But we were a Yext partner when we first started out.
So was I.
I'm sure. And so how this goes is that relationship failed. And when I really was learning about like the importance of local SEO and everything that you're saying is spot on, I found that when I was creating my own listings, a lot of the listings that you look for are actually owned by Yext. So not only do they pull down the other ones, but you have to be careful when you're creating those listings to make sure that they're not owned by like some sort of shady, underbelly of like a site, what I would call like a private citation network. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a really good description of what it is.
Google frowns upon PBNs, a private backlink network. For those who don't know what that is, that's when you farm backlinks and you do it illegally in a way that Google frowns upon. And they're sort of, listen, they're going to catch up on this eventually, but I use whitespark.ca. They were just recommended to me. I have connections there. So but Bright Local's great. And I can't understate the importance of what Steven is saying. Is you have to pick your business name, and the business name and all the information that you put into that Google My Business account has to match everywhere. That's it. It has to match everywhere. And the number of citations is important, like you were saying, but on your website, that your business name has to be the same. Your phone number, the same. If you use dashes, if you put the 1 for the country code, if you put the parentheses around the 6, around the area code, it's all super important. The comma, if you put suite number with the pound sign for number, it has to match perfectly.
Well, and there's a reason for that. So we're in law firm marketing. One of the most prolifically spammed verticals on the internet is law firms. I can take and so Google looks for those discrepancies in your listings because it's a lot of times it's looking for spam. So you ever go Google something right now, go Google a law firm, a big law firm in your market, and look and see if you can find addresses or names of the same law firm without addresses on Google. That's those spam listings. And so that's why you want to make sure, one of the reasons why you want to make sure everything is lined up. The other is you want to be accurate. I mean, it's just like, think of it like accounting, right? You wouldn't file your taxes with, some weird number that isn't actually reflective of your income or your expenses. So it's the same thing. So.
Or you would, but that's
I would.
neither. I wouldn't. I'm just kidding.